Hey everybody, this is Dave Dugdale, learningDSLRvideo.com. I've been needing to get one of these camera DSLR stabilizers with a gimbal for quite a while, and I've been researching and trying different ones, and I still haven't made up my mind, so I wanted to try this one. And this one is the Blackbird by Camera Motion Research. So over the last couple of months, I've been using this device quite a bit, and I've been running with it, walking with it, circling around objects. I've been craning up, and I've been craning down. I also got to work on a promotional piece for a local photographer using this device. All right, you gotta keep my experience level in mind while I do this review. One of the things I don't like about people that do YouTube videos and they pass themselves off as experts and you don't know what their experience level, I'm gonna tell you right now, my experience level with this is pretty low. I've only got maybe 3 months of use. I've used a GlideCam and I've had this one for the last couple of months. So this is the type of device, it does take a long time for you to get accustomed to. Probably you need to use it for several months before you can get somewhat proficient and get really smooth results with it. So keep that in mind as you're watching my B-roll. All right, last time I reviewed the GlideCam device, one of the things I had problems with was kind of the horizontal shift. I guess your horizon would shift as I would move with the device. I'm not getting that so much on this device, and there could be a couple of reasons. One, I've got more experience now, and I know what to do in terms of getting rid of it. And the other reason might be because inside their gimbal, they have, I think it's called SmoothTouch Friction Adjuster, I think is what they call it. And you can basically adjust it. So if it's like a windy day and you don't want your camera kind of sailing back and forth, you can tighten that up and add some resistance. I don't know if it's either one of these two. It could be just I'm more experienced now. One of the things I think it talks about in the manual is you hold your steering hand, I guess you'd call it, from up here, which I don't really like to do. The GlideCam and this device, I'd rather steer from down here, do my steering this way. And if you ever watch, one of my favorite YouTubers is Devin Graham, Devin the Supertramp, I believe. And if you ever watch his behind the scenes, he's always holding it from down here. He's never holding it up here. In fact, when you're going downstairs or you're following somebody upstairs like this, it's very difficult to get a lot of torque, and you can't, I don't know, I get a much better response, I think, from holding it down here. I really like having a bar here. One of the things, I think it's a Steadicam Merlin, which I have not reviewed. It has basically a big loop and there's a bunch of weights at the bottom, and I don't think there's really any place to hold on to it down there, but I haven't tried it yet, so I really like the way this kind of design is, this one and the GlideCam. So a lot of you guys might be thinking, well, why do I need a device like this? You know, can't I just do it handheld? So let me give you a quick comparison. This first take is done just with the camera and the lens. In this particular lens, I have IS, or image stabilization, turned on, and what you want to look for is how much bounce I have as I'm circling or orbiting the talent, I guess you could say. And the next one up is the Manfrotto Frig Rig that I just did a review on. And you can see it's definitely a lot better than just walking with it handheld, but still you get quite a bit of bumpiness as each step I take. All right, and the last up is with this device, the Blackbird. And as you can see, it's a lot smoother. But keep in mind, again, my experience level, I'm not as good as some of these other guys. But this is kind of results that you would probably get when you first pick up this device and you get a little practice with it. But you'll definitely improve over time. So basically these stabilizers with a gimbal basically come in two different price range. There's the $100 to $400 price range, which is a lot of the cheaper models that you could find like on eBay. And then there's the $400 to $800 range, which this one kind of fits in. This one actually has two different models. This one, there's a $470 model, I think it's the BB100. I think it stands for basic something or other. And the model I'm actually testing is the 2050A, which is $670. Now, from what I understand, the unit itself is the same, it's just the accessories that come with it for the 2050A. So if you buy the cheaper version, it's going to have the same performance. All right, now I've used this with two different bodies and two different lenses. It'll work fine with the 5D Mark III, and I've got the Tamron 24 to 70 on here, and I use their VC their lens image stabilization, which definitely helps, especially when you're in a glide cam. But you can use a T2i with like a Tachina 11-16, which is a very popular choice as well. So one of the reasons I like using a wide angle lens, this is the 24 on a full frame, which is pretty wide. I know somebody like Devin Graham, he uses the 16-35 L series glass, which I want to try at some point. But this is wide enough for this type of device. Another reason I like using a wide lens is like when you're outside and you're going from light to shadow and you're following the subject, a lot of times you don't have time to look at the screen. You're just kind of pointing in the general direction. You hope you've got the framing right, because sometimes you just can't see the screen because there's so much glare on it. And also a lot of times you're looking down where you're walking, because if you're walking across a whole bunch of rocks or across a stream or something like that, you pretty much have to look down and you're just hoping you're getting the right direction. Again, this is something that takes a lot of practice. Now, as you can see on here, I've got the Manfrotto Quick-Release plate, and I have that on all my devices, like the my monopod, my tripod, even my slider, and then this device, so I can quickly take the camera from one device to another, which is awesome. And what's nice about this is this plate fits on here in such a way where I can have access to the release lever and pull it down. Because sometimes on some of these devices where the mounting plate is, you can't bring down the release lever because the plate comes out too far. So this gives you enough adjustment room forward and aft to be able to position it in such a way where you can get the release lever and get it balanced. So build quality on this thing is really nice. They spent a lot of attention to detail. One of the things I really like is this plate right here, the mounting plate where your camera, or in this case my quick release plate attaches to. It's got this, I don't even know what the material is. It's like metal. Well, it is metal on the bottom, but on the top there's this very, almost not spongy, but it's hard spongy. And it makes this nice compression grip against it. So when you tighten it in there, there's no shift. So really well attention to detail. Okay, one of the things I've heard other people talk about is the ones that are cheaper than $100 to $400 range, which I haven't tried yet. They can be unbalanced quite quickly. So what I did in this case is I put it in my car, I took the camera off, put it in my car, drove around like you would go to a job site over bumpy roads or whatever, and then take it out, put the camera on, and every time I've done it, it's like perfectly balanced, and you can see from the little bubbles on the side, which I love. These bubbles are awesome. I don't think the GlideCam has this, but you can just dial it right in and get that perfect balance quite quickly. And so it keeps its balance really well. So you want to get to the job, you want to start shooting right away. You don't want to spend 5 minutes adjusting. You want to throw that camera on there, and when you put it on the Manfrotto plate, you know it's perfectly aligned on the plate. It just works. As you can see, it's balanced perfectly on here. So in terms of weight, which is something you definitely have to keep an eye on, especially since you're putting a 5D with a big lens on here, is your arms are going to get tired after a while. So in terms of weight, this one comes in, I think the cheaper model, or actually both models I believe, come in at 2.4 pounds. The GlideCam is 2.54 pounds, so slightly heavier. But the Merlin, if you look at the Merlin, oh my gosh, it's only 1.4 pounds. So a big difference there. But then the Merlin is $800. So unlike the GlideCam, where you can set it down on a flat surface, you can't do that with this device. And you can't do that with the Merlin as well. But this one comes with the kickstand, which works pretty well. You can set it down. One of the things I've noticed on this device is you got to be really careful when you tighten down the, if you can see that in the frame, when you tighten down the weights. And the weights are really easy to get on and off compared to the GlideCam. GlideCam, man, the weights are a pain because you have to take all these things off, where here you only have to unscrew it a little bit and then add more weights. But I've had these weights fall off before, so you got to really torque down on them to make sure they don't come off. Also, I've had really good success at rebalancing it. So you basically take the weights off and you tip it upside down so you can get really low shots, like I have here through the grass. And then you just flip it in post and you've got a really nice low steady shot. I even gave this to my friend Dave to try out. He had never done a GlideCam before, and this is his very first attempt, and as you can see, he did a pretty good job. Also, one of the things you can do is you can use this horizontal bar and set it down on the ground, and you can get nice low shots, you know, steady, or you can actually add tilt to it as well. But I've definitely used that a few times when I was doing the promotional piece for the local photographer. So am I gonna buy one? That's the good question here. In terms of the price, $470 is a bit much for me. I would like to get something within the $100 to $300 range, and I might try some of the cheaper units to see what happens there. But I think it might be almost one of these things where you hear the advice on a tripod. Everybody's like, save up for a good tripod. Don't buy the El Cheapo one because you're just going to replace it in a year. This might be those kind of devices where you save up for the $470 to buy one of these devices versus buying a piece of junk, not working well, and then owning two later on and for more cost. So that's pretty much it. If you found this helpful, give me a thumbs up on the YouTube video, and I guess I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.